Welcome to season 3 of the Gastric Mindset podcast, everybody, where we should continue to have the same wonderful, inspirational conversations with those who have first-hand experience of going through this journey and those who are professionals within the field. I would love if you could help me grow this tiny podcast. Share it with people who need some mindset support, who are going through bariatric surgery. We know it could be a really lonely journey. So pass it along. Give me a review wherever you listen to your podcast. Send me a DM on Instagram if there's a conversation that you would love to have. I hope you get so much value out of the conversations. And thank you for listening and hanging on with me. I love the podcast, and I hope to bring a lot more value in season 3. Hello everybody, how are you all doing? I just thought I was going to record a video for my Facebook group, and then I thought, well, why don't I come and do a podcast? I have not done a solo episode in a little while, so yeah, I thought I'll just come and say hello and have a chat with everybody. How was Easter? And if you're a parent, how did you survive? If you don't know, I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. Hard work, but amazing nevertheless. So it was exhausting and amazing in equal measures, but I'm glad to be back in my old routine and for them to be at school. And yeah. So today, I wanted to have a chat with everybody about cravings and the reality of the fact that research suggests at the point of 2 years or anything beyond that, there could be, for some people it could be 18 months, that actually the likelihood of your cravings returning, your wanting for food returning is very high. And the fact that they'll always return. So hormones like ghrelin and all the biology will kick in. The only time it won't kick in is if you're basically not alive. And, hopefully you are alive. And so what do we do? Is regain, we don't want regain to be our destiny. So how do we manage that? So I want to discuss a couple of things to ease your mind that you could work on that will mitigate, that will safeguard, that will go some way in making sure that you're just not another statistic of somebody that's had a regain. And regains are going to happen, but the percentage of regain is where the measure lies. If it's to the point that you need a revision, or you need to go on medication, or, I think we've already been through enough. And this tool, used in the right way, along with the right support, should be enough to keep us, to sustain our weight loss, to safeguard our weight loss. So here are a couple of pointers, maybe 5. The first thing that I tell anybody, that I tell myself, is as soon as you get a bit of regain, is to not panic. Don't go into panic stations. And please, for all that's good in this world, do not do a pouch reset. This week, I saw a story on Instagram, and this poor person was sharing that they were going to go and do a reset. And some of the days, I don't know if it was up to 10 days, and there's a lot of liquid on there. There was a soft food day, and I was shaken to my core that you're doing this without not being medically supervised. You're not trying to shrink your liver. Reset pouch is a myth. Everybody will tell you that. All you need to do is just to Google it, but you're going to torture your body for a whole 10 days by not eating. And then what's going to happen? We've been there, we bought the t-shirt, we've ridden that rodeo too many times. You're putting your body into starvation mode. It's going to come back with a vengeance, and you're going to put on that weight, and you're going to put on more because your body is very smart and your body's job is to stay alive. So please don't mess with your body. Don't mess with your brain, your mind, it's there, it's so smart. Its purpose is to keep you alive. And in order to keep you alive, you need to eat. Simple as that, right? So don't try to outsmart it. We've tried that. We've been on the cabbage diet. We've been on the military diet. We've tried to eat an egg, a watermelon, a grapefruit, whatever they were. We tried, right? We did that for 3 days. We lost 9 pounds. We gained back 15. If you haven't done that, then you wouldn't be here. You certainly wouldn't be listening to the podcast. Nor would have you needed to have weight loss surgery in the first place. I say that all with love, right? I am you. I am, I say I am my first client. I am a patient. So I know what you're thinking and I know, but don't do it because it's not worth it. So I started this podcast to get information, distill the information, which can usually be quite dry, and then get it to people. And I'm so passionate about people doing this well, being kind to themselves, not putting themselves under this horrendous, torturous behavior out of choice. Don't do it. Diet trauma is a real thing. Don't do that to your nervous system. Don't startle your body like that. Please, that's not the answer. There's not going to be one dietitian or a surgeon or a nurse or a therapist that's ever going to say to you, don't eat anything. It's a great idea to go and do, liquid for 10 days for no reason, unless you're under medical supervision. And that's because you're preparing for an operation to shrink your liver, not to lose weight. So, with all that to say, these are some easier steps to get you back into, a place of balance, comfortableness, releasing any weight that you've perhaps put on. Some of it is normal. We're all gonna go up and down because that's just part of our lives. It's fine. It's normal, especially if you're a woman. Every month you're gonna fluctuate anyway. So please do not worry about that. But number one is what is going on with your portion. Have you go back to the books that you've got? Go back to the conversations that you've had with the dietitians. Is your plate balanced? Have you got everything, every food group on there? Go and read your notes. Whatever you have to, make sure we're very smart people. We've been down this, we've done this so many times. We all know we need a good balance of protein, fats, carbs, vegetables. Yeah, so it's not rocket science and we all know what we have to eat. So be honest with yourself. Are you grazing? Are you missing meals? Are you eating too many slider foods? Right? Honesty is the best. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, then what's the point, right? You can't be honest with anybody else. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting quality sleep? It's not just about sleep. Are you getting quality sleep? Are you perhaps, if you've got other things going on like menopause, are you not well? Is there a lot going on in your life? Are you getting quality sleep? Or are you spending the whole night turning and waking up and having broken sleep? Because that would impact your craving for the next day. So when you look at that, the next thing to look at is water, all fluids. I, for one, really struggle with getting enough water because I can't handle water. I've had GERD before I had weight loss surgery. Then I really struggled with it when I had the gastric band. So there's something about the pH in water that I really struggle with. And there's plenty of squash to have, tea to have, all that adds up. So are you getting enough fluids in your day? And the third thing is, are you moving? Whether you're doing a bit of walking, whether you're doing a bit of weights, whether you're doing a bit of Zumba, whether you're doing a bit of walking the dog, whatever it may be, research shows that actually weight loss, exercise is not great for weight loss, but it's fantastic for weight maintenance, which is brilliant news for us because that's what we need. We need something to sustain and maintain our weight. So are you moving enough? Can you move a little bit more? If you think you're moving enough, I challenge you to do a little bit more. Just a little bit more on that. I'm currently trying to do 10 push-ups every night because I really want to get stronger. I'm doing walking as much as I can. I park away from the bus stop and I walk. So I'm constantly trying to get in more movement within my day. And then I think that was 3. Don't hold me to it. Number 4 is environment, people, places, and things. What is going on in your environment? The mind, the body is always going to turn to automatic actions. It's got a bias for things being easy, so it's always going to make your life easy and try to, make sure you reserve your energy. So it will always grab what it knows that you've always done. If you've always come straight through the door and looked in the cupboard and picked up a biscuit, then the brain will direct you to do that because you don't need to exert any energy to do that, right? So what is going on with your environment? And then the next one is, what is going on with you emotionally? What is your stress levels like? What's going on at work? What's going on with the children? What's going on? And for somebody, I hated data, right? I hated data. I have actually quit jobs because they were so data driven. I hated it. I hate writing things down. I am dyslexic. I'm sure I've got ADHD. I'm impulsive. I'm impatient. I hate that. All that I hate. However, I've got to. Now I know it's a necessity. It's not a want. It's a need. It's something I need to do to sustain where I am with my life on all levels. Right? I love the quote. The way you do one thing is probably the way you do everything. I'm butchering that a little bit, so I'm sorry, the person who said that quote. But that's, for me, that really resonates because I've always really struggled with, planning, knowing, being somebody who's, I'm not methodical, I can't even pronounce it, let alone be it, but methodological. Anyway, I'm not somebody that just can, tick a box, each box as it goes along. I'm not that person. But one thing that has helped me immensely, has helped people I've worked with, is learning to use, write things down. So you have data, so you have trends, so you know what happens during the school holidays, what happens when there's certain projects on at work, what happens when the mother-in-law visits, right? So that's all data and that's all information, so that you can change it. Awareness is the key to any point of change, right? You cannot change anything you don't know about. So become aware of that. The next point is, can you see I've already lost track of numbers? I should not even try doing numbers. Is planning tomorrow today. That has been the most transformational thing for me by far. I plan what I'm going to eat tomorrow. I plan the 3 top things I'm going to do. I check what's on tomorrow on my calendar. I get prepared. I simplify, because if you're somebody who can get easily overwhelmed and you're using up precious brain, space, data space, if you're using up you're overusing that, what's going to happen is the body needs to reserve its energy somewhere. And what happens is that you're going to just go back to doing the automatic actions of eating, things that you've always done because it's easier for the brain. So don't waste valuable brain space on things like to-do lists. Write that down. Get it on a paper. I use paper. I use a normal book, because I did try to get a tracker. I did try to get all these fancy stuff. But to be honest, they just took away because I kept on losing them. So if you're anything like me and you lose stuff and you're a bit ADHD, then have just one book that you'll have, or your phone, right? So plan. Simplify it. That will eliminate, the impulse, the need for just constantly grabbing things without thinking about it. It will help you manage the unruly mind. If you're somebody who finds yourself at the shop or in the cupboard or in that cupboard or in the fridge, and before you know it, you've consumed a packet of whatever it may be, it's because half the times you're just automatically just going through life. And imagine you're like a dog on a leash and you're just being dragged around, and that's what your brain is doing to you. So get ahead of that, right? And you can only do that by making space. So that leads beautifully onto making some time for you. And I don't want to say, oh, you should do some meditation, because I'm like, oh, go away. Whether it's meditation, whether it's just sitting there by yourself, whether it's dedicating a little bit of time in the day or in the night to reconnect with your body, to scan the body, to see where the pain is, then you realize what the hunger is. Whether it's head hunger, mouth hunger, or heart hunger, you'll be able to make that, recognize them, right? And then you can make those informed choices when your body is craving food, highly palatable food, right? So where is that craving coming from? And for people who have abandoned our bodies, ourselves for so long, because we were going on one diet after the other, because somebody said we should follow this system and that system, and we should have, I don't know, whatever ridiculousness that we've done in the past. We've given away our power for so long to everybody else, that we don't know where we stand with our own bodies. And that will take us back. And we'll realize why are we eating? And why do we do what we do when we know what we know? I love that. So the reality is that food wanting and food craving will always return. It will. Regain will happen. But to what extent and to how much, it's your choice, and you've got control over it. Deal with the deeper reasons why you're eating. What are you pushing down? What are you avoiding? What conversations are you avoiding? What is this wanting? Why do you want this food? Question it. Don't be led by your brain, because it'll always do what's easy. It will always do what you've done. It will always choose the easy route. Challenge it. And then it will become your new normal. Some of these things will, first of all, be very clumsy. It will seem hard, especially as people who, just tell me a plan. Give me a plan. Give me a meal plan. Just tell me. I know you. I see you. I am you. Do this work. Then it's done forever. It doesn't matter whether you've lost 100 pounds, whether you've had the plastics, whether you look great, whether you've had everything done. Fantastic. I salute you. I celebrate you. I'm sure you look amazing. But that's not going to stop the regain. So be honest with yourself. Why am I craving? Challenge yourself. Be critical about what you're doing, right? Talk to somebody. Talk to the GP. Talk to your aftercare team. Read books. Call me. It doesn't matter, but talk to somebody before it gets out of control. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. You will end up back in the same destination. We don't send, everything's got a sat nav that you have to code in, right? So they say, show me a day of your life, and then we'll tell you where you are, where you'll be in 5 years, 10 years time. What are you coding in that will decide where you end up? So those small steps. And I know it's really hard for some of us, because I know the summer's coming. I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to look nice for summer, yes. And, you've probably seen loads of people who look great on social media. I hear you. I see you. However, I also challenge you that meaningful change will only come from you taking actions that you haven't taken before, looking at yourself in a way that you haven't looked. Okay. I hope that was helpful. If you have got any questions, please drop me a message on Gastric Mindset on Instagram. come and join me on my Facebook group, Gastric Mindset on Facebook. I'll put it at the bottom of the episode. And yeah, please take care of yourself. But remember, you got to do the psychological aspect of this journey. Otherwise, either way, it will happen. It will happen, right? Either way, whether you decide to do something about it or not, the outcome, there will be an outcome, and it will be, a regain, a revision. There's plenty, and there are times that it's going to be out of your hands, and that's going to be okay. But then also, what else do you avoid looking at? Is there people-pleasing tendencies, procrastination, eager to get that dopamine fix? So yeah. Anyway, I will leave you to it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And yeah, speak to you soon. I appreciate you for being here with me. I hope you got some value from this episode. If so, please give me a review. It will make me super happy and support others from our community to find the podcast. Share it with your Barry bestie. Connect with me on Instagram at Gastric Mindset. It'll be wonderful to hear from you.